Hello there everyone and welcome to a new video today. This time it's going to be a review for a movie I've just got back from, being Shazam. Now this has to be my favourite movie of the year so far. Without a doubt, it's just amazing, it really is. So, I'm going to do a review of it now. Now warning, this does contain spoilers, so if I were you I'd get off this video if you've not seen Shazam yet. So I'm going to give you from a count of 3 to leave if you've not seen it, okay? Okay, so 3, 2, 1. Okay, so the movie begins with a young Thaddeus Savannah, who would later become Dr. Savannah, and he's arguing with his father and his brother in the car while driving through the snow when he's playing with an 8-ball, and then symbols appear on it and he gets teleported, well, to a Rock of Eternity. So a temple hidden in an unknown dimension, where he meets Wizard, who goes by the name Shazam, and he's the last of a council of 7 wizards. And he's been searching for a new champion, and who has a pure heart, because the other one had already released the 7 deadly sins upon the world. So they're in statues, and they try to tempt Thaddeus to join them so they can go inside him as their vessel. Because of this, he gets banished and sent back to Earth. And he wants to go back, so he causes a scene in the car, and as a result, he causes the car to crash, which causes his father to be paralysed with his legs, and his brother blames him. Then over to present day, this is where we meet Billy Batson, and he's looking for his birth mother, but it doesn't work for him, and he ends up being placed in a foster home run by the Vasquez family, Victor and Rosa, who have 5 other kids. So we have Mary, Pedro, Eugene, Darla, and Freddie, who is Billy's roommate, and he's also a superhero fan. But meanwhile, Dr. Savannah, who is now grown up, so he's embittered by his rejection as a boy by his father and brother, he finds a way to return to the Rock of Eternity, and then he finally does get the Eye of Sin containing the sins, and then as a result, he becomes their vessel, and he gets powers. And then he returns to Earth, and he kills his father and brother along with the sins, alongside the people in their business. And that scene was pretty cool. It made me like the character of Savannah so much. It really did. I mean, it made me jump a bit how he threw his own brother out the window and what have you, and how they ate everyone else for 7 deadly sins. Now meanwhile, Freddie gets bullied by 2 boys who are truck drivers, and they're really horrible to Freddie because he's crippled. So Billy saves him by hitting him with his crutch, but then unfortunately they chase him, and he ends up going on a subway to escape them. But then there's a sign on the subway saying, you know, next stop is whatever, but then it turns into the symbols again, and as a result, he gets sent to a Rock of Eternity. And Shazam the Wizard chooses him as his new champion, which Billy accepts. So, and this of course turns him into an adult with his own costume, and now he's known as Shazam. But then, unfortunately, the wizard turns to dust and leaves behind the staff. Then Billy, in his adult form, returns home to get Freddy's help. Freddy's horrified at first, but then after that, Billy's able to convince him that he is Billy. And then they explore all of his powers, so they discover he has the ability to manipulate electricity. He's invulnerable to bullets as well, and also punches and what have you. He's also really fast as well, a speedster if you will. He's also very intelligent as well, and he can fly. They don't know he can fly yet, but he eventually discovers it soon. And as a result, Freddy films him, and he becomes viral. And as a result of being, you know, such a superhero, Billy decides to play truant and skip school, well, so he can use his powers for fame, and also so he can get money as well. However, this unfortunately gets the attention of Savannah, because he's been told of the champion that has been formed from the wizard. And so he fights Shazam, and unfortunately he does defeat him, but hey, at least Shazam learned how to fly in that scene. And then they crash into a toy store, and then, because he's been defeated, and Savannah demands to give him his powers, Billy decides to escape by turning back into Billy. Unfortunately, though, Savannah has seen the news report, which shows Freddy talking to Shazam on the news report about the bus, because if you remember for a trailer, Shazam saves the bus, but Freddy reveals, no, you shot it with your electricity ball and you caused it to crash, so you didn't really save it. So yeah, Savannah realises who Billy really is, even as a kid. And then he kidnaps Freddy, who's gone to a mall to look for Billy. And then after that, the other children realise who he is as well, and then they also tell Billy that they've found his mother, who who disappeared when Billy was really young. Billy does reunite with his mother, but he learns that she abandoned him because she was actually a single teenage mum at the time. So Billy's really upset about that, and then he decides to return back to his foster family. Unfortunately, Savannah has made it to the home, and he's taken the other, Freddie and the other siblings hostage. So Shazam agrees to give Savannah his powers to spare their lives, and then they go to Rock of Eternity. However, before Savannah can get the powers from him, the siblings follow and attack him. And it's at that moment where Freddy uses a replica of Batman's Batarang to hit Savannah in the back of his head, and Billy sees blood coming from him, but then when he gets the sins back in him, the wound heals. So that's how Billy deduces that Savannah can be defeated. He's a normal man without his sins. So yeah, that's how they learn they can defeat him. But then after that, he chases them to a winter carnival, and he unleashes the 7 deadly sins on the crowd. Well, I think it's 6 of them because he keeps one of them in him to fight Shazam. Savannah eventually gets the sins to kidnap the siblings, and he demands Shazam to give him his powers. However, when Savannah reveals who the 7 deadly sins are, Billy realises that, the staff can be used, so he takes it and he manages to stun him, and he remembers what the wizard said to him, and he decides to share his powers. So the siblings touch the staff and they turn into adult superheroes just like him. So that was amazing how they did that. He then breaks the staff and then they fight Savannah and the sins. It was really cool how they appeared in adult form. So it's the MV Sin that's inside Savannah. And so during their fight in the skyscrapers, Billy manages to convince Envy to leave Savannah. So unfortunately, Savannah becomes powerless. So that's very unfortunate for him. And then, so they incapacitate him, and then they get all the sins into the Eye of Sin. And then, after that, they return it back into Rock of Eternity. So that's when Billy and his family are seen as heroes to the public. And he decides that the foster family is his true family. So, after that, they decide to use the Rock of Eternity, which is now alone. There's no one there to use their new lair. And then, at the end of the movie, Billy actually attends school in his Shazam form to have lunch with the other kids. And he's brought Superman with him, and Freddy can't believe it. Now, the only beef I had was that Henry Cavill didn't film that scene. It was actually Zachary Levi's stunt double who played Superman, and they didn't show his face, because it's obviously not Henry Cavill. But yeah, it was great how they included Superman as its connectivity to the rest of the DCEU. I mean, it takes place 1 year, I think, after Steppenwolf's invasion, I think. And then after the credits, there's a mid-credits scene where Savannah is now in prison, writing down his symbols on the wall, when he's approached by Mr. Mind, and he proposes to him that he can get him his powers back. And then there's a post-credits scene where Billy can talk to fish like Aquaman, but unfortunately he can't. So yeah, that was pretty funny, but yeah, pretty brief. So over to the cast of this movie. They all did a fantastic job, they really did. Asher Angel and Zachary Levi both were brilliant as Shazam / Billy Batson. They were really amazing, And Zachary did a good job trying to sound like a kid when he played Shazam. That was really well done. Yeah, and Asher had a fantastic performance then. And of course, Savannah was played by Mark Strong. Mark Strong is a great actor. If you didn't know this, he actually played Sinestro in the terrible Green Lantern movie. He was one of the few good actors in that movie, in my opinion. But yeah, he's much better as Dr. Savannah. He was so likeable as a villain, much more than Steppenwolf. Much more likeable, yeah. He was awesome as Savannah. I particularly like that scene where he killed his father and his brother for blaming Vincent on him and what have you. That was just awesome. True villain. And then as well, the other kids, they were really awesome as well. Played really well by in the adult form as well, yeah. And as well as that, now, the Vasquez family may be familiar. Not really the mother. I don't really, I've seen him before, but I do know that, if you didn't know this, Victor is actually played by Cooper Andrews, who is actually Jerry on The Walking Dead. So that's really cool seeing him in it. Oh yeah, and also the wizard Shazam is played by Digimon Honsu. And he was actually in a previous DC movie. He voiced the King of the Fishermen, Riku, in the Aquaman movie. That's really cool. The second DC role he's played. And he was also in the MCU as Korath recently in Captain Marvel. That was really cool. He was in this around the same time. And then also, as well, Savannah's dad was played by John Glover, who voiced the Riddler in the Batman animated series. And he was unfortunately in that very bad Batman and Robin movie as a scientist who creates poison ivy. So yeah. And as well, oh yeah, it was really funny in the toy store. They had, you know, DC toys, and there was actually a Batman toy that talked. It was voiced by one of the sound designers called Bill Dean, I think, yeah. Oh yeah, Ryan Hadley's the stunt double who played Superman, so yeah. And then, of course, Seven Deadly Sins were all played by CGI, and also motion capture suits played by stunt doubles, so Pride, Envy, Greed, Lust, Wrath, Gluttony, and Sloth. And they're played by voice actors Steve Blum, Darren DePaul, and Fred Tatascion. They were brilliant in this movie as those characters. Very scary voices, very well done to the three of them. So if I was to grade this movie, guys, I didn't have any problem with it at all. So I'm giving it 10 out of 10. It was just absolutely amazing. I really enjoyed it. It was funny, and I love how it had a lighter tone because it's children, really, isn't it? The main cast is children, really. It's just awesome, isn't it, really? The majority of the cast is kids, really. So, yeah, fair enough. But, yeah, I really love Shazam. And I can't wait for any sequels. I also can't wait to see Dwayne Johnson play Black Adam. That'd be awesome to see him rock in a DCU movie. I'd love to see a fight scene between him and Zachary Levi's Shazam. That would be awesome. So, guys. Oh, yeah, and David Sandberg did a fantastic job directing as well. And he actually made a cameo appearance as Free Crocodile Men. So that was really cool. And he voiced Mr. Man in the credit scene, mid-credit scene. So, yeah. So, performances from Levi, Strong, and the other kids were brilliant. I mean, I like Matt Strong already as Frank D'Amico in Kick-Ass, and also as Sinestro, and also as Merlin in the Kingsman films. So, yeah, I knew he'd be great in this. So, yeah. So, this was me reviewing Shazam. So, give this video a like, and if you've seen this movie, then feel free to let me know in the comments what you thought of it. And subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all later.